So, well, you guys have given me a perfect segue into our first story for today, and it comes from the New York Times, and it reads, surprise, surprise, Trump calls Somali, he calls Somali garbage. He doesn't want them, he doesn't want in the country. The president delivered his xenophobic comments during a publicly broadcast cabinet meeting. But there's a key part here. It reads, there was a part here. Yeah, even for the president, okay, so it says there are people, even for a president who has frequently made derogatory comments about immigrants, the rant about Somalis was an alarming use of vulgarity from the White House against an entire community. But let's not negate this part. When they come from hell and they complain and do nothing but bitch, we do not want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it, Mr. Trump added, as Vice President J.D. Vance banged the table in encouragement. What do you want to say to that?
All right. So he's campaigning, of course. He's opening the salvo for the 2026 midterms. So he knows this is, he has that reliable base of the xenophobic folks. He wants to get them revved up early. And then there are those who also claim to be progressives, but they also reveal their true nature when it comes to voting time. Although there are so many other issues that he's going to have to contend with. The Jeffrey Epstein thing is just going to get bigger going toward the election. The issue of affordability. You know, it's funny. People interviewed are being saying the cost of living, right? Groceries, you know. And you have this guy saying, no, everybody's fine, including the people who are saying, no, we are not fine. Okay. So that's going to be a tough challenge to counter that in 2026. And then the final point I want to make on this whole issue is what I think I mentioned it either last week or the week before. The establishment in Minnesota demonized the Somalis, thinking they could keep it exclusive, throw them under the bus because of the federal food scandal, the USDA federal food scandal, where people were inflating the numbers of meals they served, and they were billing in excess of what they should have been billed. Millions of dollars were embezzled. So let's throw the Somalis and let scapegoat them. But as I said, I wrote, and I was the only one that wrote this column. And for our viewers and listeners who are interested, go online and research Minnesota Department of Education and Milton Allimadi and Black Star News. And you'll see my column. My column discusses a report that was done by an auditing committee in the state legislature in Minnesota and found that had the Minnesota Department of Education done its job of monitoring this program, the corruption would not have occurred, number one. Number two, no one has reported, but I did, that the Minnesota Department of Education also gets to retain an administrative fee. Each year, they retained on average $8 to $9 million. Over the 4-year period, they earned more than $35 million. So they had an incentive for this program to just keep going on. You see?
Okay.
They had a built-in incentive, in fact, not to monitor this program. So why is the governor not firing the commissioner of education and other staff people at the Minnesota Department of Education? Why? Because the Somalis became the convenient scapegoat. So I'm just hoping more of this story eventually gets out now that they're looking further into it, thanks to Donald Trump. So in fact, the Somalis could use this attack to turn the situation in their favor and say, here's the truth of what really happened. And you're finally paying attention to it because the president himself is maligning us.
Okay, sister, your take?
I guess I would be, if any good comes out of this, and the truth of that situation that you're referring to, comrade, comes out, that would be wonderful and a blessing. But let's just be very clear. These people are not concerned about the truth. And it doesn't matter if it had absolutely nothing to do with this. They're always going to find a way to taint us. And let's understand what the history is here and what